Hi guys, this is Ben from Ben's RPG Pile, and today we're going to talk about the first floor of the Tower of Mysteries and how Paldemar defended it from the game group. The big thing is I wanted to make this more difficult. We have a party of 6, you can see them all in here, there's the group, and so I always have to increase the challenge rating anyway because modules are really built for a party of 5. But let's make no mistake about it, this is Paldemar's hangout. This should not be easy. So I wanted to make this tougher, number one. And I thought the way I would make that harder is I would do so by adding doors and stairs. Because there's this stigma of a lot of parties to be afraid to open more doors or to go up levels because if you go upstairs, they think it's going to be harder. They open a door, they think it's going to bring more people in. Okay? No harm, no foul. I don't blame players for thinking that, but if a DM wants to make things harder, throw those variables into the mix and all sorts of crazy stuff will happen. Even though the solution to the problem can be right behind one of those doors, they're so hung up on opening one of those doors or going up or down those stairs that they lose sight of it. So, and that's kind of how this one played out. But let's kind of walk through. And so there are the doors, right? One door over there. And then there's one door over there. Okay, and then there's the stairs that leads up to where the psychic attacks are happening. There's a priest and an aspect of Vecna mini there. So all these towers, these little pillars, these columns, these are shooting psychic attacks out at the party. And I'm going to tell you guys how I made those columns, but devastating attacks, and the group would obviously want to kill the guys behind those attacks as soon as they can, but I wanted it to be hard to get to them. It's a little easy in the original module. You literally go through one of the doors on the left or right and they're sitting right there. That's too easy. So that was one of the big changes I made in the dungeon. So let's talk about how we made the most important feature of this room, the pillar, and what that involved and all the thought process behind it. The module description is a beauty. Okay, it says the walls of the chamber are covered with carvings that depict human faces. Each face wears a blindfold or gag. Immediately upon your arrival, the blindfolded faces animate and begin to chant, while the eyes of gagged faces glare at you with rage. Okay. That same description is part of the pillars as well, and there are these two badass psychic guys shooting attacks through the pillars. Now, I don't have any kind of pillar like that. That's crazy, and so that meant I had to make one. The heartbreaker was there's 18 of these things. 18 of these things in the room, and so let me show you the map. See, look at all those pillars. That's a lot of pillars. So I have a cardinal rule on terrain. I hate to make specialized terrain, especially in large quantities, because you use it once and put all that work into it for a one-time use. That's why a lot of people don't even use any terrain or make their own terrain. So, but sometimes a key element, you have to make it. You got to bite the bullet. A thing I thought too is I was going to make all these and I was going to let each guy in the group take one so they can put them on their desk, and a little memento, parting gift as it were. So but I wanted to make them with somewhat of ease and not, it was already brutal, but if I had to come up with putting faces and stuff and eyes on the pillars, that would have been difficult. Now there would have been a way for me to do that, but just for my time's sake, I could have taken a mini, right, and I could have taken this Instamold stuff right there, and I could have formed it on the miniature, see, like so. It's insane, the detail, and you press that on, and then I could have filled that with plaster, and it makes a, look at the imprint, see that? So I could have made those faces, but again, I didn't want to do it 18 times, and it overwhelmed me even thinking about it. But it certainly could have been done. But if you don't have a pack Instamold in your repertoire, you're missing something. It's like $8 for a pack, by the way. Okay, so instead, what I decided to do is take 3 simple fieldstone blocks, right? Stack them on top of each other, and then one crystal ball from the accessories mold, and I made sure in terms of height that I had I wanted it to be somewhat correct, right? The height in the Mini, that's important. You don't want that to be way off, and you don't want the piece so high that it makes it hard for everybody sitting around the table to play. They can't see. So make sure I got a real good playable, usable height in there, and then I glued these three pieces together, and after I did that, so I'll take that away, right, you end up with something like this. And now it's still real believable, right? The psychic attacks are coming from a crystal ball, which could have depicting faces and eyes and stuff in it. This is fieldstone. I painted the fieldstone gray color that works real well. I put flock, sorry, I use the light here. I put flock on there to give it an aged look. A little brass crystal ball. So let's talk minis. What miniatures? Ben's favorite thing in the world. What miniatures did I use to represent all the baddies in the module? So here's how that kind of broke down. Again, I'm doing an encounter for a party of 6, so I have more minis than what's called out in the module. We'll start with a Norker Grunt. Okay, that's actually the Norker Mini, spot on, and that's from Savage Encounters. He's cool, right? But I use these as the minions, and I wanted the Norker to be a little bit beefier. So that's our Norker Grunt. This is what I use for the Norker, right? Kind of got that Laurel and Hardy thing from that Christmas special. Real creepy, right? Those guys. But that's a Tanaruk, and that's from Giants of Legend, and big old axe and everything. So I had 5 of those. I had 8 of these Norker Grunts, which came in rounds of 4 during the battle, and that allowed me to flank the group. And then I had 5 of these Norkers, which are pretty badass. The next monster I had was I used some Minotaur Thugs. Right there's a Minotaur Thug. Isn't that a beauty? That's from Reaper's small but very nice miniatures, pre-painted miniatures line, and they'll sometimes do color variations. And so see that? There's a gray and a brown, which is great because it makes it easier to discern who's who. You don't have to use those numbered dots on the minis, so that's nice. But those look like badass thugs, don't they? They must work out. Okay, and then the the aspect of Vecna, which is what's supposed to be doing that psychic attack through our columns. The only problem is I don't have 2 of those. They're kind of they're all pricey, and I didn't have time to order one. So I decided again to mix it up that I would get a little lackey, a little priest lackey. There we go. From Mage Knight, and this is one of our heralded rebases there. Took him off his oversized stand, put him on our own stand. We've got some great videos that show you guys how to do that. Here's the other side of the room, and this is again a simple barracks at first look, but then see it goes up to another door. Right there's our stair and door fear factor. And up in that room, this is kind of our command center, as we like to call it. There's a crystal ball miniature from Wizards of the Coast. There are 2 psychic attack guys looking into the crystal ball, which allows them to control the crystal balls out in the main defense area. See how it all ties together? Heck yeah, boys! We've got our 2 miniature thug bodyguards there, a little church pew for sitting, little sacrificial altar. Alright. All kind of works together, and we'll give you a pan shot here to see the whole thing. Pretty big, covers a lot of the table. That's as far back as that's as far back as I can kind of get. Right? So see the whole deal there? And I just close with a couple quick little tips. I don't know if you can tell, but I actually have this mat on its own, and I built this in my office where I do all my terrain building. I put this on this mat, built it out, and then I took a picture Just put that in the center. I took a picture, and you guys can see I made all my notes in here. Okay, the picture is it is worth 1,000 words because it allows the DM to remember how to set this sucker up, because I can't leave all my stuff setting up in the house, right? I got a wife, I want to stay married. But I use that picture to figure out how everything's supposed to lay out. I make my little tactical notes on it. When I'm moving guys out of view of everybody, I actually count the squares in the picture and put an X of where they are so the group never sees me move those minis. That's right. I know, too smart. So that's very important. So a lot of times I plan my movements on the photo of the terrain board, and the group never sees me putting any miniatures down, and they don't know for their line of sight. That's how I had guys kind of sneak up like this and come in there, because they never saw me put them down, so they didn't know where they were when they came around the corner of that center teleportation circle. So I highly encourage you guys to take photos of your maps and then mark them up so you have all your strategies and everything, and then use that during the game. You'll remember a lot more stuff, and it'll help you set it up faster and easier. But hey, that is the Tower of Mysteries. Thanks everybody. Say hey to me on Twitter. Be sure to check us out on Facebook. Download our video podcast, and until next time.
Special, shine a light on me. Let the midnight special, yeah, shine its light on me. Come on and let that special shine all over me. Let the midnight special shine its light on me. Now I wake up in the morning, I hear the ding-dong ring. I go to get some breakfast, see the same damn thing. No food upon my table, nothing working in my pain. I don't say a word about it. Get in trouble with the man, you know I do. So let the midnight special shine a light on me. Midnight special, God, shine all over me, yeah. Come on and let that special, shine on me. Let the midnight special, shine on. Now if you ever in Jackson, boy, you better walk on by. Don't you get in no trouble, son. Well, don't ever get high.
Don't you get high.
Because the police will jump you, then they'll knock you down. You wake up in the morning, you penitentiary bound. They got you in the slam. Let the midnight special shine all over me. Let the midnight special, alright, shine its light on me every day, everywhere. Come on and let that special shine its light on me. Let the midnight special